Campaign 2016 tonight. Democrat Hillary Clinton is launching a barnstorming fundraising blitz in Southern California, but those emails keep on following her.
Sure does. In the meantime, Republican Donald Trump is struggling right now to carve out a modified position on immigration. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us now with the very latest on immigration, the emails and the fundraisers
you name
on
it.
the campaign trail. All the above.
The question for Trump tonight is how far will he go in modifying that position? And that could be a very important distinction. Immigration is one of the most important issues in Donald Trump's rise to power, and Hillary Clinton continues to work the Clinton fundraising connection to Hollywood and Southern California. Big money, lavish dinners, and shrouded in complete secrecy. The only way you're likely to actually see Hillary Clinton during her three-day California swing is if you fork over thousands of dollars to her campaign in the Democratic Party or watch a late-night TV show. Her fundraising march through California started where else? At a reception in Beverly Hills. At the home of Magic Johnson, seen here speaking with Congress members Brad Sherman and Maxine Waters. L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti was there too. Cost to attend, $2,700, and that's the cheap seats. Throw in a dinner later at the home of Chaim and Cheryl Saban up the street, and a photograph with Clinton, and the total cost could run as high as $27,000 to be a co-host, or $100,000 per couple to be hosts. Among the other big names listed as attending, DreamWorks co-founder Jeffrey Katzenberg, sports and entertainment agent executive Casey Wasserman, and Bob Iger, the chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company. But no media coverage is allowed at the Clinton events, no interviews, and no press conferences.
Hey, Clinton, you will see Palestine will be free!
There were some pro-Palestinian protesters who showed up and marched on the sidewalk, but never reached the fundraisers, which were held in a gated community several miles from the protest site. The fundraisers come as Clinton's emails are coming under tighter scrutiny. On Monday, we learned Justice Department lawyers have given the State Department nearly 15,000 Clinton emails and documents from her time as Secretary of State, which she did not hand over to the FBI.
We still don't have a firm sense of how many of these 14,900 are new that we haven't seen before. Granted, that's a healthy number there, so there's likely to be quite a few.
But Clinton has always insisted that her lawyers carefully comb through everything on her private server.
I responded right away and provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Clinton campaign aides say they aren't sure what's in the documents, but support all her work-related email being released, as a federal judge ordered in response to a lawsuit charging Clinton used the private server to circumvent public records laws. Donald Trump has his hands full now as well. His primary campaign pledge to deport as many as 11 million immigrants who are in the country illegally is now under review, even though Trump denies he's retreating.
No, I'm not flip-flopping. We want to come up with a really fair but firm answer.
But one participant in a weekend meeting with Trump about the immigration issue said they talked about a more humane way of resolving the problem without rounding up immigrants and deporting them.
People don't necessarily go back to their country of origin, but will go back to their embassies or consulates, do a touchback there, and then that way become documented.
But in an interview on Fox News with Bill O'Reilly, Trump said this about his plan to deport immigrants who are in the country illegally.
We're going to get rid of the bad ones. The bad ones are going to be out of here fast.
Right.
They're going out fast. They're going to be out of here so fast your head will spin. As far as the rest, we're going to go through the process like they are now, perhaps with a lot more energy, and we're going to do it only through the system of laws.
Okay. Good.
Now, back to the Clinton fundraisers for a moment. Bloomberg reports tonight the reception at Magic Johnson's home, which we saw in our report, raised $1.3 million, and about 500 guests attended. Tomorrow, Clinton has 3 more big fundraisers in L.A. and Orange counties. Among those expected to attend, Jason Timberlake and Jessica Biel, Shonda Rhimes, Tobey Maguire, and Jennifer Aniston. Lena?